Barb, how did you make your fence?
It is actually made out of an old wooden ladder. In Alberta, there's a brush pile north of town that we can haul our fallen branches and things to. And we hauled branches out one day, and lo and behold, here was this huge double ladder. And of course, I told Glenn right away, I said, I want that ladder. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he's got a short box on his pickup. And it kind of teetered and wobbled all the way home, but we got it here. We did cut it to make the corners. But otherwise, yeah, it's just an old wooden ladder. And the posts I got from my brother at the farm site where I grew up. Those we put in, and I have another gate on the other side of this campus grass. And that actually belonged to a lady who was a postmaster in Alberta for many years. And after she passed away, then I was able to acquire that. And the fence lights up. They're solar lights, so they light up when it gets dark. And it really is pretty. I like it. And on the cupola, we have a solar light that's actually strapped to the tree. And so that sheds light on just the cupola. And that actually came from south of Starbuck. Little horse on top came from a garage sale that I don't think I paid very much for. And he just fit right in the hole, so he's been there ever since.
Barb, what is that metal thing there?
That's what's called a shear, and they used it to cut shingles. I can't imagine running a machine like that for hours on end. It's terribly, terribly heavy, for one thing, and it was bolted to a rotted log.
I love this stone bird bath.
We bought them at a garage sale. I don't know who made them, but we always teased everything I had glass in the yard either got hit with something from the lawnmower or the kids playing. So I knew this one, they probably wouldn't get away with that. So we've had this one for quite a while, and in fact, I have the matching pedestal for the mailbox. But of course, we don't use the mailbox part. We put a birdhouse on the ledge that the mailbox is supposed to sit on. The top actually comes off of it. It is two pieces. Seems to hold up.
Well, speaking of stones, have you gotten into stacking stones or what?
Those actually, every year, my mother's family, the Murphy family, has a family reunion. And my mother grew up south of Morris, and I have a cousin that still lives on the farm site. And one year, he brought this stack of rocks to the reunion. They weren't a stack, it was just rocks, he said, on the counter. And for $1, we could put in a weight of the total weight of the rocks.
Your guess?
Yes, whatever we thought they weighed. Anybody could do it. In first place, got like half the pot, half the money that was collected. And I don't remember what second and third was, but fourth place got the rocks. And I got the rocks, and there they are. So it's kind of fun to have them there, just because I know they're from original homesteaded land in Stevens County. So, but it was kind of funny. They all laughed at me when I got the rocks, and I was actually kind of happy.
And then, what is that? I assume it's an antique that's sitting close to the rocks.
Oh, yes, that's a sharpener. Yeah, it was used to sharpen your knives or sickle blades, whatever you needed to sharpen. Stone's in a little bit tough shape, and some of the pieces are missing. There's pedals on it that makes the wheel turn. And I think every farm place probably had one at one time to use to sharpen all their tools. And this little one right by the yellow cone flowers, that is a butterfly, but it's all made of silverware. And there's one bolt, I think, in it. Otherwise, it's knives and the handle from the knives and a few things. So that's just kind of fun to have out here. And he's rusting as well. Resting and rusting.
You know, I see a lot of beautiful plants back over on the east side of your house.
Yes.
What is that?
That is actually a rain garden that we had with the help of Soil Conservation Service, that we put that in. And it's pretty maintenance free. We did have to thin down some of the grasses because they started to spread. It really attracts butterflies, although I haven't seen a lot of them yet this year. I'm hoping to see lots more. It grows really well, and it was in a cost share program, and they put in what they thought was best for there, and butterfly weed. That was absolutely gorgeous in there this year. It was just beautiful orange, and it was so thick in there, but of course now that's done. Now we're on to different ones, but
So why was it placed there?
well, it's probably one of the most open areas in the yard, and it collects the water. It's lower in the center, and so if it rains hard, the water will collect there and go down slowly, versus it raining right beside your house and unfortunately maybe heading to your basement. And it seems to work fine.
How do you take care of that in the fall and in the spring?
Well, we leave it for fall because there's milkweed in there, and there's seeds on some of the grasses that the birds feed off of. And in the spring, we burn it off. We burn it all off, and that seems to really clean it up well. And then it just comes back from there.
So after seeing your beautiful yard and your beautiful plants, do you have some favorite plants?
Well, probably one of my favorites is the coneflowers. I really enjoy them. I really like the butterfly bush, and I have been able to kind of get them to come back. They're not normally supposed to come back in Minnesota because it gets too cold. So I've started stacking bags of mulch, the bag and all, just piling them on it over the top. And I've gotten several of them to come back. So that's kind of fun. They take off a little faster than just buying one and putting it in the ground. But they do pretty well. And I like those because they do attract butterflies, and they smell so pretty.